Hello and welcome to Inside Edition to discuss national, regional and international issues in depth. Next year, the Kingdom of Bahrain will celebrate the 100th anniversary since the beginning of formal education, which is marked by the establishment of Al-Hidayah Al-Khalifiyya School in 1919. And Bahrain is not only committed to providing education to its people, but is also committed to fundamentally improving education and training services. To ensure this, the Education and Training Quality Authority was established to review the quality of the performance of educational and training institutions managed by the National Qualifications Framework and conduct the national examinations. The authority's vision is to become a leader in fostering sustainable quality enhancement for world-class education and training sectors in Bahrain. For more about this matter, we are joined in the studio by Dr. Jawahar Al-Mdhahki, the Chief Executive of the Education and Training Quality Authority. But first, this for more.
From the moment we open our eyes, our journey of learning begins, a journey that never ends. We learn to name things, so that one day we can explain phenomena. We learn to take the lead, to one day become successful leaders. We learn every minute of every day. At school, at work, we learn by ourselves. We learn to build our careers. We learn to explore different fields, or to specialize in one. Whatever we learn, be it knowledge, skills, or competencies, our learning can be recognized. Many institutions in the Kingdom of Bahrain recognize learning by providing a wide variety of qualifications through learning programs. But how do we know the complexity level of those qualifications within a specific field? To measure this complexity, the National Qualifications Framework, the NQF, has been developed in Bahrain in partnership with Bahrain's educational and training stakeholders as a tool to provide a better understanding of the offered qualifications. The NQF has 10 levels. Each level reflects the depth of our knowledge, skills and competencies that we have gained in a specific field. Qualifications on the NQF will have a level and credit. The level will reflect the complexity of knowledge, skills and competence of the qualification. The credit will reflect the time spent to achieve this specific qualification. Whether you have learned through school, an institute, university, training courses or any other form of learning, it is all valuable learning. The NQF will improve linkage of qualifications to labour market and learners' needs and aid in the continuous improvement and development of education and training provision in the Kingdom of Bahrain. With the NQF, achievements in learning can be recognised by employees, employers and all educational and training institutions. The NQF will help you choose the path of learning for the right qualification at the right level for you to reach your goals, to learn more about your field, to explore a new field, to seek career opportunities, or just to enrich your life. The National Qualifications Framework for lifelong learning.
Welcome back. Joining us in the studio is Dr. Jawahar Al-Mdhahki. Thank you very much for joining us and answering some of our questions today.
Thank you very much for this kind invitation.
Dr. Jawahar, we know and we've seen also that education has evolved. But before we actually start with that, we want to know, there is always this misconception between the actual name of the authority, which is different than the abbreviation. It's called the Education and Training Quality Authority, but the abbreviation is BQA. Can you just clarify the difference?
Yes, actually, the title, as you stated it, this is the official title according to the decree. But we are now becoming more involved internationally, and normally most of our associate and equivalent authorities, they always have an abbreviation with the first initial of their country, and we are proud to say that we are from Bahrain Quality Authority. Okay. So BQA stands for that, so that internationally and even of course within Bahrain, this is how we are calling ourselves for abbreviation.
Exactly. So it's one and the same institution, that's just the abbreviation, the actual name is a bit different. All right. Yeah. Well, As we said, in recent years, education has evolved tremendously. I mean, the entering of the technological world, digital media, all kinds of digital education, all that kind of stuff. How is it that the authority itself, when and how was it established?
Yes. Well, this is a very good question, and just to take you to the background of the establishment of BQA, actually it was an initiative for education reform in the whole country. It was initiated by His Royal Highness the Crown Prince in 2005, where he formed a committee chaired by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Mubarak to review the education system in Bahrain, see how the areas that we need to improve, also to look around internationally. And internationally it has been also reforms. Even in developed countries, they were initiating reform projects to see how we can change, how we can improve. And of course the slogan for the education reform was education is Bahrain's future, and that's a total reality, a fact all over. So from that point of view and from that initiative and the review of all over the world systems, they came up with the three main initiatives that started in 2008, the Bahrain Teachers College, BTC, and Bahrain Polytechnic, and Bahrain Quality Authority. Okay, so we started from there. Of course, as you know, and as you stated in your initial introductory statement, that we take care of the quality of education in Bahrain. Now, even according to the UNESCO 2030 goals, goal number 4 actually state that to ensure inclusive, equitable and quality education, and to maintain or actually to monitor or enhance and improve lifelong learning opportunities. So all of that pushes to go to further for improvement and better education for Bahrain.
Yes. When we talk about the quality of education in Bahrain and all and the whole world actually, it does have a lot to do with the Sustainable Development Goals, as you said, and not only to the basically law that asks for more education for all people, but also fighting poverty and also having more education when it comes to the environment issues. But what are the main missions and values that BQA actually has?
Yeah, well, we actually started by having our framework, and when we put the framework for reviews, which include the standards, I mean, when we review institutions, we have, maybe I would categorize it into 3 categories: reviews, national examination, and qualification framework. So for the reviews, in general, what we do, we have a framework where we put the standard based on international standards, and also after monitoring it over the time when we review what Bahrain needs. So it has been adapted to our needs, but with an international view as well. So we have this mission to give a reflection of what the education provided to our student, to the concerned bodies. Actually, our report, as you know, are approved by the court, by the Prime Minister Court, and it has, a value there, so that all the related parties are supposed to look into it and see the recommendation that we put in our report in order to improve education in Bahrain. That's the reason why BQA was initially stated, whether for the views, for the national examination, or for the qualification framework. That's a main mission. The values that we have, actually, it's taken from the value of Vision 2030. So we have transparency. All our reports are actually on our website. Everybody could see it, even the standard, it's there. It's not just it's there. We actually consult all the institutions, all the related parties before make any amendment to our framework. And that's what's happening right now. We are in the process of upgrading or having a new framework for the coming cycle, as I will say later. So we have consultation with all parties involved in that sense. We have also the consistency in what we are doing,
Yes.
fairness in what we are doing. We actually deal with everybody equally.
Yeah.
I mean, even I have the question sometimes that is raised for private schools and government schools, whether we have different standards.
Yeah.
They are the same kids that we actually trying to provide good quality education for. So actually we have the same standards there. Of course, if the curriculum is different, if there are variances or
Minor
differences
changes.
between, this has to be taken into consideration.
Yes. Fairness is actually a part of my next question. When we look at the reports, as you mentioned, it's important to mention to the viewers that BQA does annually reports on the education institutions in Bahrain, whether they are school education, university education, or anything else that has to do with education. They review it and they make reports ready for it. My question to you is this this yearly thing that's happening, could it change from, can an institution's status change from one year to another, improve or become less of an improvement?
Just to clarify one thing, our cycle for reviews, it takes around 3 years. So the status of the institution could change from cycle to cycle. But going back to the annual report, according to our mandate in the decree, actually we are supposed to provide a report that consists of the education and training situation and status in the Kingdom of Bahrain. So we, part of that report is on the current year, and part of it is actually the accumulated results of the reviews over the previous years until the moment or the point of issuing the report. And all of our standard, as I said earlier, it is well provided to the institution. I mean, if we could go and ask a school principal and he would memorize them.
Yes.
I don't memorize them, to be honest. I understand them, but they know it. So we want them, and at some stage they will be doing it automatically.
Yes.
We are, looking forward for the point where we don't go and review the schools in term that we do right now.
Yes.
We are looking forward for the point where we review the quality assurance system within the school itself. Basically, we just make sure that actually they are quality assuring themselves, and we make sure that that system is working. That's our target. We hope to get it sometime in the future.
Do you see like in the future maybe something like basically a department within each school that will actually have that job of quality assurance, like they have in hospitals even now?
Yes, actually now universities are having that. Some training institutions are having that. I know in the school they have a committee or a person who deal with the quality assurance issues and keep records of all what we do. And for that point of view, or from that on that point, I really need to say that we don't go and just look at files. Most 70% of our work, especially in school, is actually in the class. We look at how teachers are actually providing the education, how the students are using and learning from that education. So the process of preparation of things is continuous thing. So if you have the system, you just add to it. You don't need to create it every year or every cycle when the BQA is coming, the quality assurance are coming.
There's a trust then.
Yeah, that's something also I'm taking this opportunity to enhance it within schools. We are partners, and that's how we deal with everybody. So we want them to be relaxed when we come. I know it's a sensitive issue. I know. We understand that they will be irritated, but having things done over time and have it accumulated rather than having a month and work for it will make their life easier, and we want to make their life easier so that they concentrate on the quality of education provided to our kids.
Because at the end you guys have the same goal actually.
Exactly.
The 6 directorates of education and training quality authorities collaborate together in order to serve the same vision. Tell us more about the specialties and the efforts that they basically produce.
Yeah, well, we have directorate, as I said, as I classified it. The schools is one of the general directorate of reviews. We have 2 general directorate, reviews and a qualification framework, in addition to the national examination.
Yeah.
So for the schools, we are now finalizing the framework for the next cycle, which will be starting in February.
Okay.
Schools, government school, we will be starting the 4th cycle. Private school will be 3rd cycle. Vocational institution review will be 4th cycle as well. We are starting the institutional higher educational review in it's already started, and I just also want to take this opportunity to congratulate all parents, students, teachers, people in charge of education for this year that's coming, and hope it to be as fruitful as they expect it to be. These are the reviews, these are the things to do. For the reviews, actually, if I may take you over, a short journey of how we do it.
Please
the framework, we talked about it. We take a consultation, so it is a joint work, it's not the BQA work.
Yes.
We publish it,
Yeah.
send it to all institutions. We train them on how to do the self-evaluation framework, how to do their self-evaluation report, and they do it on their own. So they evaluate, I am a good school, or I'm an excellent school, I'm a satisfactory school, based on the criteria, because they know it, and we show them how to apply it. Then actually after that training, and that training, to me, I do find it's also a contribution of the BQA to the society. This is a capacity building for educators at all levels, whether for school, for vocational, and of course for higher education. So we are doing that, and now we have experts, whether from the BQA or a Bahraini expert, who go and do reviews within the region, and that's something that I'm really proud of.
Yes.
After that, we do the review, so they are informed when are we coming, and from there, on a daily basis, there will be a daily feedback that, so they feel, or they would know where is the direction of the judgment at the end. And they will be told that at the end of the...
It's continuous, so it basically feels like normal work every single
day. So they will not be shocked at the end if it's not something that they want. And I mean, shock doesn't have to be inadequate. It might be they were expecting outstanding, it would be good, things like that. So after that, we prepare the report. Of course, there is always a checking point within the BQA on these reports, and then we send it to the institution itself for factual accuracy. Is there a fact that we ignored? You want to add? Is there a fact that is not correct there? And they give us a feedback within a specific period of time, after which we take our process for publishing that report. Of course, approval through our board, and then through the Prime Minister Court.
So in reality, they give you a review about their experience with the BQA itself.
Exactly, and we do take feedback. We take feedback from parents, we take feedback from the principal on a daily basis, and even if they have a complaint, we should receive it, and we deal with it professionally.
Perfect. How can the performance of your authority benefit educational outputs and later on the labor market?
Well, I did specify the UNESCO goals and the quality of the education that is needed for 2030. We are contributing to that, or pushing towards a better outcome. The lifelong learning as well, it's something that is concerned with the qualification framework. Within the framework that we have, actually we do look into the 21st century skills that should be within the graduate, that is needed for the graduate. So such as creative thinking, critical thinking, skills in languages, technology, leadership. This is something that now the work labor market, this is what they want.
Yes.
You will have a degree, but they will interview. If you don't have this skill, you are not suitable.
Correct.
So we are moving towards that direction. Even in the national examination, problem solving is one of the subjects that we test. So we hope that these efforts contribute, you know, a combination. It's not just BQA efforts. It's everybody's efforts within the education field that will lead to that.
Yeah. Thank you, Doctor. Before we go back to this discussion, the Education and Training Quality Authority cooperates with numerous regional and international institutions to improve the quality of services provided to the people of Bahrain. One of the most pressing issues is ensuring the quality of higher education and finding ways to deal with the challenges in this matter.
There are many developments, as you know, in higher education. We've seen the proliferation of e-learning. We've seen the private sector taking on a bigger role, and that puts more pressure on quality assurance bodies to have a consolidated approach and a globalized approach. Today we live in an interconnected global world, and there's a bigger request on students to move from one country to another while maintaining quality.
In GWAHI, the International Network for Quality Assurance Agencies in Higher Education, by its concept, it's usually traveling from part to part so that we could share the whole wealth of information and experience and the practice that we have with all the regions in the world.
If we look at the challenges facing the higher education in the Arab region, we have enormous challenges. One of them is the quality assurance. Are our students very qualified? Are they equipped, trained well? And that's what we are trying to do with collaboration with the international organization and association.
التي تعد أحد أهم لبنات مشروع تطوير التعليم والتدريب.
Life is about opportunities, challenges, collaboration, and competition. And once higher education institutions and universities were established, which weakened some quality standards that
Welcome back. After seeing that report and performing its duties, the Education Training Quality Authority deals with several local institutions and also regional institutions, as we have seen. How do you value this cooperation? How does it contribute positively to achieve the goals that you have set out?
Yes, we actually have same targets, vision, whether it's the vision, National Vision 2030 or the United Nations Vision 2030. Everybody is moving towards, you know, better education, at least from, I mean, our part or our field. Cooperation between all institutions within the kingdom, all organization and ministries is essential and very important. Yeah. We have within Bahrain 8 memos of cooperation within the institution, University of Bahrain, Tamkeen, Higher Education Council, quite a number of institutions in relation to what we are doing. Also internationally, we have around 24 memos of understanding all over the world, and we are active trying to activate these memos. There are also committees to coordinate between our work with Ministry of Education, Ministry of Higher Education Council, Ministry of Labour and Social, and all other related. And these committees, some of them are official to the level that they are issued by a decree of His Royal Highness the Prime Minister, such as the Advisory Committee of the Qualification Framework, where we have representative from almost all people related to the qualification, so that all our decisions before we move them to our board are actually approved. As I said, Ministry of Education, Higher Education Council, Ministry of Labour, private sector, universities, institutions. So this issue or this decision, when it's gone up, we are sure that all related parties are happy with it, so that they will cope with the outcome. That's one thing. The other thing, internationally, we are partners actually members in quite a number of associations, such as the INQUAHI, International Network for Quality Assurance, the Arab Network, Islamic Network, the International Assessment Association, CHIA, which is the Higher Education Council for Accreditation in the States. So we are trying to be, in advance, learning what's there, so that we have our ways of implementing it or improving the education in Bahrain. Because I do believe and I do think that our leadership, they have that belief. Otherwise, they would have not thought of the BQA 10 years ago from now. So they know and they think ahead that this is where the world is going and we need to go. Standing in a moving environment is basically going backward. So we need to move forward in order to achieve the goals that we set for ourselves.
Yes. And it's also important to mention that, as you said before, the reports are available on the website and anybody can actually take a look at them. And I took a look at a couple of the reports. They're very detailed, so people can actually go into detail about each institution, find out more about it. Even the institutions themselves can review them for future reference, what went right, what went wrong, what was done, and so on.
100%.
And these are international standards. They're not just standards of Bahrain, but they are needed standards, not just for our region, but basically for a better qualification of manpower in the future. What can you tell us about the details of how these reports are basically done and the criteria that they go through until it comes out at the end? It's a very detailed criterion. As you said, you take a long time to do it in order to do everything right, but a little bit more detail on that.
Well, I mean, as I said, we set the standards with all partners, and then we do the reviews. Before that, we train them, and the standards are actually have, as internationally recognized, the three main parts. The outcome, which is the student achievement and the personal improvement, and the operation itself, what is the provision being provided for them, the teachers themselves, the way they are teaching them, the way the students are learning, even the other, of course, provision. If we are talking about universities, library, computers, all the facilities that should be needed for them. Leadership and management is of high importance to any entity, any organization. I mean, if you don't have a management or a leadership that have a vision forward for that institution and have everybody on board with them, you will be lost. I mean, as we say in Arabic, one hand will not be clapping. So basically, even if it's a good leader, if not everybody with them and have the same target, the same objective, they see where is he or she going and they try to pave that way towards that will not be successful. So these are the three main areas that we look at, whether we are in schools or in higher education or vocational. Of course, it varies according to the level of the institution itself, but these are the things that we look at in order to evaluate the quality of the education being provided for the student.
Dr. Jawahar, are these standards regional or is it an international standard?
Actually, it is according to the best practices internationally. It is internationally because, for example, for higher education and even for some private school, we do bring people. If it's an American system, we bring people who are used to the American system or the Indian system or whatever. So it is recognized internationally. When we review, we see the needs. Is there, of course, I mean, for example, UK, they started reviews since 80s.
Yeah.
Okay, and their level of development and level of understanding what is needed is different. So they change according to that development.
Yes.
You don't force things that people don't understand or cannot apply. So the standard that we have been adapted to our need, to the level of development that we have, and we try to raise the bar a little bit every time we go into a new cycle.
Yes.
So that they have challenges, especially the schools or institutions that are achieving outstanding. So basically, you need to give them some, other achievement, and that's what we even do or say for schools. You need to differentiate between the student that are outstanding student or regular student, and you give these challenges. Otherwise, they will be bored with what you are saying to the one level teaching.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you've been doing your job for a very long time, and as you said, it's been 10 years since the leadership has actually made the degree, so congratulations on the 10-year anniversary. After years of this dedicated effort, how does the authority assess the successes it has reaped after planting all of these seeds?
Yeah. Well, there are many things that we could talk about. I mean, to start with, we are so happy and grateful for the leadership recognition of and the trust that they give in BQA and its effort, and all of the dedicated colleagues in that institution. The recognition of the schools that have outstanding in the 3 cycles by His Royal Highness the Crown Prince in the Government Forum 2016 and 2017. That actually shows how important they recognize the outcome, shows that they want to give incentives to other schools to be part of that rewarding process. So that's one thing. The other thing, if we go to internationally, again, we are well recognized. We are members in all the institutions that I stated. It's not that members, we are board members in some of them, and that shows that we are, and in some of them we are the only Arab institution that are represented in that board, and it's highly recognized, very competitive in terms of the selection. So basically, that also shows that we are recognized internationally. Within Bahrain itself, I do think that people are benefiting. You could tell even when you talk to parents, they know now, they are aware of what their kids school is doing. They can even have a vote in term or a voice in whatever, because we do ask them when we go to the schools. We even have a questionnaire to give us feedback. So all of this is awareness of what is going on. The higher education programs, we reviewed them all now. We are moving into the second cycle, which will be next year. 70% of the programs are actually confidence. We have confidence in whatever they are providing. This is a good amount. We hope one day I will be telling you 100%, but we are happy with that. Around percentage. Exactly 75% of the vocational, they are also within the range that they are meeting the minimum standards required. School, there are 2/3 of them are meeting that requirement. So these figures shows that people are trying, and there is improvement over the cycles. So that shows us that actually, yes, we are having an impact in whatever we are doing.
Well, because of the impact that you have, you get to have more basically things that you have to look over, watch over, or be a part of. Our question is, after the uproar in several countries about the fake certifications, we want to know, how does BQA fit into countering fake qualification certificates?
Well, it's a very big issue, and it's not a new issue. I mean, for decades now, it's been the subject of a number of conferences, number of international forums. But it seems that we we did not take it seriously as it's going to come here. It's an international issue.
Yeah, it
I
is.
mean, high-level institutions, developed countries, they have that problem, and they've been talking about it for several years. Now, it's getting closer to us, maybe, or maybe there are evidence of some related fake certificates. The degree mill, now there is accreditation mill internationally.
Yeah.
So it's not just that university is issuing a degree to a student that is not his right. Now they are taking accreditation for themselves. Okay, that is not there.
Yeah.
There are different levels, different types of fake degrees. There could be a university that of no existence, but it's just a website and it's just giving and taking money. There might be an existing university, but actually what is happening is that give me the fees, I'll give you the degree. It might be an existing university, and basically you can attend, okay, there will be no education given to you. Or you could attend, I'll give you education that is not of the quality that you want.
Yeah.
There are different, levels and strength. The first one, which is the fake, I do think that it's very easy to discover. You just look around and go to that country and see that actually it does not exist. And now there is a wave of declaring which degree mill is available in the world, so that you be aware of it.
Yeah.
In Bahrain, all the higher education institutions are licensed, okay, and they are there providing education. Our role is to say the quality of that education.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and all of that is listed in our website. The student and their parents, they do have responsibility. They just go to our website and they will be looking each program, over 100 program, and each one of them, there is a report if they want to go to the detail or if they want to go. So I would recommend they go to the confident program. Limited confident might be fine. They look into the report, but I don't advise them to go to any no confident program at this stage until that university push themselves to do a better job. So that's what I think is our role in that particular issue, is to give quality or no quality education. But the other things are related to other responsible concerned parties, Ministry of Education, Higher Education Council. And I do think that they are doing, great efforts towards that file.
Yeah. I think it's also important to see that fake certificates and all of these matters are not only a violation of the institution's rights that the person is working in. It's also violations of fellow manpower, people that actually do have the higher education, they actually do have the qualifications but did not find the job for whatever reason or not. What can you tell us about how this will affect the work market, the job market, if this is not contained, if problems like these are not contained?
Well, it will be a short and a long-term harm in that sense. If these people it's either they would not be chosen for a job. If the interview, as I said, the skills are very important. I mean, even a degree, being moved and accepted somehow for whatever reason, not being detected, either they will not get a job, or if they get a job, actually, I don't think that they will be performing as good as they should. Other than that, as you said, it's taking somebody else's place. They are taking someone's effort. I've been working on my degree, working hard to get it and to be recognized for it, where someone else will be, just taking the place, and they are not giving the right efforts for it or performance for it. But I do think eventually it will affect the labor market. And we don't want that.
Yeah, of course. That would be horrible.
Exactly.
There are future plans that the BQA does have for its own institution and maybe also for others. But what are the future plans and the upcoming projects prepared by the Education and Training Quality Authority?
Right. We have, plenty of things to look forward to. Maybe I will start, as I said, the new framework, the new cycles that will be starting next academic year, some of them, next year, the others. The national examination, we have a unified national examination, and we have good cooperation with the Ministry of Education, as there was a decision by the Prime Minister to have such a unified exam. We have forums that are starting September, this month actually, end of this month, for each of the directorate, and that's also part of capacity building, interaction with the society, and giving them feedback on what we accumulate of knowledge and information about the education in Bahrain. The biggest event that we are looking forward for this year is actually the 10th year anniversary. Yes. We hope for it to be in November. It will be, the date is not yet finally decided, but it's under the patronage of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Mubarak Al Khalifa. He is actually the guardian of the education development, as he is the chair of the Supreme Council of Education and Training Development. And that's a very good guard for the education, as there is a big umbrella to look into all parties. All parties related are actually there. People, even direct or indirect relationship with the education, they could give feedback, are actually there. And that's, I think, a very wise, decision to form such a council. And it's very active. We really have the plans made there. And we hope for a better future for Bahrain with a better education.
Inshallah. Dr. Jawad, another question for you is 100 years of education, 10 years anniversary of the Quality Assurance Authority. I'm sure you've faced some challenges. What are the challenges that you have faced, and what do you expect to face in the future?
Well, yes, it won't be interesting if there aren't any challenges, to be honest with you. Yes, you frustrate with it and you deal with it, but it's also keep you going and keep things lively. At the beginning, there were so many challenges, as it's a new body coming into a creation and visiting all institutions. Yeah. We are not that much liked at that time, to be honest, and there was resistance from these institutions. As they learned that it's actually for the benefits for them, for our kids, for the future, and also they learn that we are dealing with them as partners. So that's reduced. I wouldn't say it's totally eliminated, but it's been so much reduced, especially in the higher education sector. They were more understanding from the beginning, maybe the second year, third year, they are more into it, and they started to work in order to create the improvement that is required and the recommendation in our reports. The others also are trying their best, and we hope them the best. And I do think that with our cooperation, with our partnership, and with all entities within the government complementing each other, that will be the success for getting better education.
Gotten to the end of the show, is there anything you would like to add?
I'm happy to be here. I hope that this interview was of benefit to the audience, and I thank them from the bottom of my heart for their patience in hearing what we are saying. I also would like to thank you and Bahrain TV for giving us this opportunity to be providing information that is needed to the public, and we hope that it will be of benefit to them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jawad Al-Mlaki, for being with us today, and we would like to thank you for watching, and see you next week in another episode of Inside Edition.